What's up, everyone? My name is Mr. Avila, coming to you from Southern California, here with our next video in our series of pre-algebra videos, video number 9. And if you're watching this video and you're not in my class, welcome. Today, you are one of my students. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the order of operations with positive and negative numbers. So we're going to evaluate some numeric expressions with integers. As always, make sure to have paper and pencil. These lessons are interactive. You're not just sitting there watching me work out problems. You need to work them out with me. So take down the notes, try the examples that I do, and then pause the video, check to see if you're understanding them. But the first thing we need to do is our warm-up. This warm-up is similar to the previous lesson. So please write down these 8 questions. Make sure to know which rules are applying where, and then try to answer them. Pause the video, we're moving on. In 3, 2, and 1. Answer to number 1 is -2. Answer for number 2 is -4. Answer to number 3 is -5. Answer to number 4 is -66. Answer for number 5 is -16. Answer for number 6 is 90. Answer for number 7 is -18. And answer for number 8 is 4. Congratulations if you're understanding this. Understanding the rules for positive and negative numbers is not necessarily easy. So I'm proud of you. Good job. And if you need help, please ask. These are all the rules for the integers, as we mentioned earlier in the last lesson. You should have written down the rules for addition and subtraction. And you should also have written down the rules for multiplication and division, as making sure that you know which rule is being applied when is extremely important to answering these questions. Do you know now, if I were to ask you, what is the difference between an algebraic expression and a numeric expression? Can you tell me what the difference is now? Okay, I'll wait. I'm hearing you. What's the difference? Very good. Very good. Yes, very nice. Good job. Yeah, that's exactly right. I knew you could do it. An algebraic expression is an expression that contains variables, whereas a numeric expression only contains numbers. And the moment that we introduce variables into an expression, that's what we call algebra. Algebra is the study of the mathematics of the unknown number. Today we're going to be doing numeric expressions with integers. So there's actually not going to be any more algebra, at least for this lesson. But we're going to make sure we introduce the order of operations. Now, do you remember them? We studied these in the early video. So do you remember the order of operations? There are 4 steps to the order of operations. Step 1, what is it? That's right. Evaluate all operations in parentheses first. Step 2, evaluate all exponents and roots. Step 3, multiply and divide from left to right. And step 4, add and subtract from left to right. Good for you if you remember those order of operations. If not, you should have written them down or have them in your brain at this point. So we're going to apply the order of operations in this form, a strategy called I do, you do. I'm going to do a problem, show you an example, and then you're going to do one very similar to what I just did to see if you understood the concept that I explained. For this first example, you should write it down. We have -5 minus -6 times 6. One of the most important things about math, and actually what I find makes math difficult for people, is being able to read what an expression says, not even the actual math itself. People start trying to do the math and they haven't read to understand what it says. So one more time, this says -5 minus -6 times 6. There's a multiplication in between those 2 parentheses. So in the order of operations, do we subtract first or multiply? Well, step 3 is multiplication. Step 4 has subtraction, so we're going to multiply first. -6 times 6, using the rules that we've learned earlier, negative times a positive is a negative, so that's going to give us -36. And notice what I bring down. I'm going to bring down this -5. These parentheses in the front do not alter the value because there's nothing in the front here. -5, we just bring it down. We bring down the minus, and -6 times 6 is -36. Notice I had to bring down this subtraction symbol and the negative from the product of -6 times 6. So then we end up with -5 minus -6. As we learned from the rules, anytime that we're subtracting a negative, that is equivalent to addition. -5 plus 36. -5 plus 36, signs are different. We subtract. We take the sign of the bigger one, and we end up with 31. If you're having trouble with these rules, you need to go back to the previous 2 videos. Get these rules straight in your head. Answer is 31. That was the I do. Now, you do. Please write this down. It says, I'll read it for you, -3 minus 5 minus 6. The 5 minus 6 being in parentheses. Write this down, pause the video, and when you're ready, unpause to see if your answer was correct. Moving on in 3, 2, and 1. Answer is -2. If you got -2, congratulations. If you didn't, please ask for some help. It ends up being -3 plus 1, and that gives you the -2. Okay, my turn. Throw a little division in there. This says 4 minus -1 divided by 5. We're going to work out what's inside parentheses first. Minus a negative is equivalent to addition. So I'm going to actually change this first. 4 plus 1 divided by 5. I changed the symbol. I couldn't type it in that easily, so I made it a slash for the division, so division sign. Since we have the parentheses here, we're going to still evaluate what's inside those parentheses. 4 plus 1 gives us 5, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So our answer here is 1. Write that down because you're about to do one that looks very similar to this. Okay, your turn. You do this. Write this down. Read it carefully. Read it carefully. I'm not going to read it for you. You try to read it yourself. Pause the video. When you've worked it out, unpause. See if you have it right. Moving on in 3, 2, and 1. Let's see how you did. We're going to bring down, the answer is -6. Congratulations if you have -6. If not, ask for some help. Reach out to me. Somebody around you can try to practice with you, and hopefully you guys can figure these out together. Okay, I do. This says -3 minus -2 to the power of 2. So we have this, interesting because we have a lot of parentheses. We have parentheses around this -3, parentheses around this -2, and then we have a parenthesis that encloses the subtraction here of -3 minus -2. Since we have this subtraction of a negative, we know that's equivalent to addition, so I'm going to bring everything down, except I'm going to change the subtraction of a negative to a positive. Again, these parentheses in the front do not affect the value of that -3, so I can get rid of them. -3 plus 2, -3 plus 2. Signs are different. We subtract, and we keep the sign of the larger number, which is -3, so that gives us -1. And -1 squared, be careful, that means -1 times -1, that gives us +1. +1. Hope you understood that. And again, the reason why that that comes out to be positive, -1 squared means -1 times -1, and we know a negative times a negative is always positive. Your turn. Pause the video. Write this down. Use the example that I just showed you and see if you're able to get the right answer for this one. We're moving on in 3, 2, 1. Did you pause? Did you try it? And here's the answer. Congratulations if you got 16. Good for you. If not, ask for some help. Okay, my turn. This says, I'm going to read it to you, -4 minus, in parentheses, -6 minus 4. This parentheses in front, since there's no sign here, it's not going to make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm going to go ahead and combine -6 minus 4. So here we have the same sign. With the same sign, you add the numbers and you keep the sign. So I'm going to bring down everything else, -4 minus, and -6 minus 4 is -10. Here we have -4 minus -10, subtracting a negative. What is subtracting a negative equivalent to? Subtracting a negative is equivalent to addition. So we're going to change that -4. We'll leave that -4. We're going to change that minus -10 into a plus. -4 plus 10, signs are different. We subtract, we keep the sign of the larger one, and we end up with +6. This amount of parentheses, I understand, can be confusing. It's so important to read them carefully and go through step by step, being careful at each step. You try this next one. I want you to try this next one. 3 minus 2 minus 6. Pause the video, and we're moving on. In 3, 2, and 1. Answer is 7. Answer is 7. You end up with 3 minus -4, which is 3 plus 4, which is 7. Congratulations. Hopefully you understand this lesson. And since we have 2 football teams here in Southern California, let's go do a quick hat switch. Well, didn't even notice, didn't even notice. And boom, representing our other football team here in LA. Next part of our lesson is that I was so tired when I did this part. I did a problem and I made a mistake and I left it there just to see if you could find it. Can you find the first step where I made a mistake in this following problem? Here it is. Wow, that is one complicated numeric expression. I call it a numeric expression because it all has numbers. There's no variables in there, so it's not algebraic. So I want you to look through step by step by step by step by step by step and try to find in what spot did I make my first mistake. You should write this all down. You should write it all down and then like grade it. Find the mistake, cross out the spot where you think I went wrong, and then we'll see if you were right. Pause the video, write this down, find the mistake, and then we're moving on. In 3, 2, and 1. Did you find it? Did you find my mistake? Hopefully you did. Our mistake happened right. Boom! Right there on that last step. Can you believe it? I left it on the last step. Everything was right. So really you just took down some notes. At the end, a positive divided by a negative is a negative, so the answer should have been -7. Hope you understood every single step of the way. Please study this because you're about to do one of these this long on your own. We're moving on to the next level. Any Dragon Ball fans? Okay, your turn. Your turn. I want you to try to evaluate this numeric expression, following every single step, using the order of operations, being careful with those negatives and positives. And here we go. Pause the video. Try it out. It's okay. This is complicated. Notice the last one had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, 6 steps, excuse me. So here, I think it's about the same. Good luck. Pause the video. And when you're ready, I'll show you the answer. Moving on. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Remember up there that since we have that fraction line, it treats acts like a parentheses on the 14 plus 10. Let's start with that first. 14 plus 10 is 24. Also, since I have these parentheses over here on the side, I subtracted 1 minus 3, gives us -2. Now, inside the parentheses, we have an exponent. Notice here this exponent is in step 2 of the order of operations after the parentheses, of course. That's what we're studying in here. So we're going to multiply -2 times -2 times -2. -2 times -2 is +4, and +4 times -2 is -8. So this -2 to the power of 3 is -8. And I'm going to bring everything else down. Notice everything stayed exactly the same. The -2 just became -8. Now we have a subtraction of a negative. Subtraction of a negative. And we actually have a division also. I think we need to divide before we subtract. Sure enough, division comes before subtraction. 24 divided by -8. Whoa, 24 divided by -8 is -3. And now we have a subtraction of a negative. Anytime we're subtracting a negative, that is equivalent to addition. So we write 8 parentheses, -3 plus 8. Here we still have values inside of the parentheses, so we have operation inside parentheses. That's step 1, so we're going to complete that. -3 plus 8 is +5, and 8 times 5 is 40. Woo! Were you able to get 40? That's a lot of steps, pretty complicated. If you're having trouble, ask for help, reach out. We'll do our best to explain this to you. Now we're going to end with a challenge here. And this challenge is one more very difficult numeric expression. Please write this down. And when you're ready, pause the video. And when you're ready, unpause to see if you're able to do this. Take your time. It's not easy. Good luck. We're moving on. In 3, 2, 1. Are you ready? Did you try it? Please tell me you tried it. Even just like one step. If it's hard for you, just try 1 or 2 steps. See if you're able to do it. Our answer is -20. Congratulations. If you're able to get -20, if you didn't, that's okay. This is actually a pretty difficult problem because there's a lot of steps that go into it, and reach out for help if you need it. With this, we're about to end with some practice. So again, these are the problems that we did today. Write these down, show every step as you go through, see if you're able to get these right, and I'll show you the answers in just a little bit. Pause the video, and when you're ready, we're moving on. In 3, 2, and 1. Are you ready? I hope you tried these practice problems. They're really important. And here are our answers. Number 1, negative 27. Number 2 is 2. Number 3, 25. Number 4, 9. Number 5, 4. Number 6, negative 8. Number 7, negative 2. Number 8, negative 15. And number 9, 25. Thank you guys for your hard work. You guys are amazing. You guys are doing great work. Again, reach out for help if you need it. If you're confused, please, that's okay. It's okay to be confused with something like this. That multiplication, addition, subtraction, division of positive and negative numbers can be very confusing. Then we're missing in the order of operations. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Please, that's okay. Ask for help. Keep on practicing. And I know you can get better at this. With that, I just want to say thank you. That wraps up our lesson for today. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. And if you do need some help with math and you want to request a video on a certain topic, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll try to help you out as soon as I can. Thank you again for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. See you later.